welcome to all of you to biol4u.com. I request all of you, please subscribe the channel and click on the like button and share the video maximum so that the needy students will get the benefit of this channel. Okay, so in this video I am going to explain a new part of the photosynthesis, that is the light dependent reaction in photosynthesis. You know, the photosynthesis having two phases, that is the light dependent phase reactions and light independent phase, that is the dark reaction. Okay, so here the light dependent reaction in photosynthesis, this is the first phase in the photosynthesis, and this phase occurring in the thylakoid membrane. You know, the chloroplast containing thylakoid membrane, number of the membranes that are kept one above the another and forming the stake of the thylakoid membrane, that is known as the granum, and each membrane of this granum is known as a thylakoid membrane. In this thylakoid membrane the light reaction taken place because all the necessary enzymes and other things that are present in the granum, so that is helping for the light dependent reaction. So first phase of the photosynthesis, that is the light dependent reaction, that process I am going to explain in this video. Okay, so you know, the chloroplast containing so many different type of the pigment that already explained in the previous video, and these pigments absorb light energy by light energy at a different wavelength and convert the light energy into chemical energy, and it is storing the energy in the form of the ATP, and that process is performing by the chlorophyll-a, that is called a reaction center. Okay, and ATP is known as the adenosine triphosphate. The formation of this ATP is known as the phosphorylation, and along with the phosphorylation there are also taking place photolysis of the water, that is the a type of the breaking of the water with the help of the light, that is known as the photolysis of the water. And during the photolysis oxygen is evolving, and this oxygen is come outside, and that oxygen helping to purify the air. Okay, so along with the ATP and evolution of the oxygen, this light phase also produce some amount of the NADPH2, that is the nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. It is an energy rich molecule, and this molecule is used for the reduction of the carbon dioxide in the dark reaction. Okay, so let us see what is actually the phosphorylation. So phosphorylation is the process of formation of the ATP molecule in presence of the light. The energy is taken from the light, so it is known as a photophosphorylation. So let us explain what is actually the phosphorylation. So phosphorylation means formation of the ATP molecule. This ATP is forming from the ADP molecule in presence of the inorganic phosphate, and for that an energy source is requiring. And if this energy source is the light, then it is known as the photophosphorylation. And if this energy source is the oxidation of the some organic molecule, then that is known as the oxidative phosphorylation. But here we are going to explain the photophosphorylation. So energy for the phosphorylation taken from the light. Okay, so ADP in presence of the inorganic phosphate in the light source or light energy, and with the help of the chlorophyll-a molecule, it convert the ADP into ATP and ATP with the energy, high energy. This process of formation of the ATP from the ADP and inorganic phosphate in presence of the light and chlorophyll is known as the photophosphorylation. So why it is known as the photophosphorylation? Because the energy for the phosphorylation is taken from the light or present in the light, hence it is known as the photophosphorylation. So this photophosphorylation, so this is the photophosphorylation. Okay, this photophosphorylation reaction actually taken place in the chlorophyll, that is the chlorophyll having the reaction center. Okay, the energy rich electron, you know that the chlorophyll-a molecule, and this chlorophyll-a molecule while absorbing the photon or the light, suppose it absorbing the photon, and it become in the photon, the ground stated chlorophyll A become excited state, and then the electrons will expel out. Okay, and this electron is carried from one carrier to another carrier, and the energy is released, and that energy is used for the formation of the ATP from the ADP and inorganic phosphate. Okay, the photon, and there is a electron transfer, that is the electron transfer taken place. Actually, Dr. Arnon first suggested that there are two pathways for this electron transfer. You know, this electron is transferring from one carrier to another carrier, and then it finally resulting in the formation of the ATP and NADPH2. So according to the Dr. Arnon, this electron is transferring through two ways, two pathways. So what are these two pathways? So that pathway we will explain in detail, that is the non-cyclic electron transfer and cyclic electron transfer. So there are two types of the photophosphorylation, that is the non-cyclic photophosphorylation and cyclic photophosphorylation. So one type of phosphorylation is the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Non-cyclic. So why it is called a non-cyclic, let us explain in detail. And the second one is the cyclic photophosphorylation. So this cyclic and non-cyclic means chlorophyll absorbing the photon light, and it becomes the excited state, and the electron is expelling outside. This electron having the high energy when it carry from one carrier to another carrier, and then to next. During this transfer of the electron, it release energy, and this energy is using for the ATP formation. But this transfer of the electron from carrier to carrier is a two method, that is the non-cyclic method and cyclic method. Okay, so let us explain that non-cyclic method and cyclic method. So let us follow the non-cyclic method first, then we can explain the cyclic method. So let us explain first non-cyclic photophosphorylation. This non-cyclic photophosphorylation is also known as the Z scheme. So why it is called the Z scheme, that you will know after completing the explanation. So it is known as the Z scheme. Z scheme. So here this involves this non-cyclic photophosphorylation, that involves photolysis of the water. Photolysis. So it involves photolysis, means the breaking of the water with the help of the light. So it is known as a photolysis. Photolysis. Photolysis of water. Okay. So this non-cyclic photophosphorylation, that involves photolysis of water and a continuous unidirectional flow of electrons. So electrons flowing unidirectional manner, flowing unidirectional. That means the electrons expelled that cannot come back into the chlorophyll A. So it is a unidirectional flow of the electron from the water. So this electron is taken from the water, and then it will go to the PS second, photosystem second, and from the photosystem second it will go to the photosystem 1. Okay, and it passing from the photosystem 1 to photosystem 2 through cytochromes. Through cytochrome. You know, cytochrome is the pigment that is containing iron. Cytochrome. Cytochrome helping to transfer the electron. Okay. So this during this time electron transfer, it finally producing the NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. NADP is reduced to NADPH. Okay. So electron expelled from the chlorophyll A. The electron expelled from the chlorophyll A, that it cannot never come back into the chlorophyll A. But the electron is receiving the photosystem second from the photolysis of the water. So that is taken place in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So I will explain the process here. So this diagram explaining the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So here this is the photosystem second, and this photosystem second absorb light energy with wavelength 680 nanometer. Okay, so P680 nanometer, that is the chlorophyll A pigment, specific chlorophyll A pigment. It absorbing the light energy, and the electrons are expelling. 4 electrons are coming out, and the chlorophyll A become ionized. So this become ionized. Okay, you know, this ionized chlorophyll A must obtain the electron within 10 raised to minus 9 second. So this electron is accepted by an electron carrier that is known as the quinone. So it is accepted by an electron. It is actually a coenzyme that is known as a coenzyme Q. And this from this coenzyme Q, the electron is transferred to the plastoquinone. So the coenzyme Q and plastoquinone is actually the electron carrier. And from the plastoquinone, the electron is carrying to the cytochrome B6, and from the cytochrome B6, it transferred to the cytochrome F. Here cytochrome B6 and cytochrome F, that forming a complex that is known as the cytochrome B6F complex. Okay, so when the electron transferring from the cytochrome B6 to cytochrome F in this complex, energy releasing, that energy is sufficient to forming the ATP molecule from the ADP and inorganic phosphate. So here phosphorylation taken place. So here the energy is obtained from the light energy. So it is known as a photophosphorylation. Okay, and from this cytochrome F, the electron transferred to the plastocyanin, that is the PC, plastocyanin, and from the plastocyanin, the electron is transferred to the PS1. So meantime, the PS1 absorbing the light energy, light wavelength 700 nanometer. So that is a PS1. So PS1 having the specific chlorophyll A molecule that absorbing the light energy at the wavelength 700 nanometer. Okay. So meanwhile, before that, this water molecule is splitting. Here in this PS second, water molecule will split, and the splitting of the water molecule requiring the light energy, at the same time it requiring 3 minerals, that is the manganese, calcium and chlorine. Okay, so with the help of the light energy and in presence of the manganese, calcium and chloride ions, the water will split, and this splitting of the water that is producing 4 electrons, oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, later here forming water molecule. Okay, so this 4 electron is give back to the PS second. That means the PS second loss 4 electrons, and this 4 electron is given by the water molecule. Photolysis, water molecule producing the 4 electron, that electron is given to back to the PS second. That means the electron which is expelled from the PS second, that never come back into the PS second, but the electron is given by the splitting of the water molecule, for photolysis of the water molecule. So this process is known as the non-cyclic, because the electron expelled from the chlorophyll A, that never come back into the chlorophyll A, the chlorophyll A getting the electron from the splitting of the water molecule. So this process explaining why it is known as the non-cyclic. So let us come again here, PS1. The PS1 also absorbing the light energy, okay, at the wavelength 700 nanometer, and this also expelling the 4 electron. So the electron energy, electron also taken from this PS second, that falling in the P700, and P700 absorbing the 700 nanometer light energy wavelength, and it expelling the 4 electron. This electron is taken by FRS. FRS means pyridoxine reducing substrate. So the FRS, iron containing substrate, and from this the electron is giving to the pyridoxine, and this pyridoxine helping to reduce NADP to NADPH2. Okay, so here this hydrogen ion is actually given by the water molecule. The water molecule split into 4 electrons, actually 4 OH ions and 4 H plus, and this 4 H plus is give back to the 2 NADP, and NADP become 2 NADPH2. And pyridoxine, electron is taken from the pyridoxine, and for this reduction process energy is taken from this electron, and NADP is reduced to NADPH. So this is the cyclic, non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So this scheme, it appearing like a Z. See here like this. So above, then below, and then it go. So it appearing like a Z, and this scheme is known as the Z scheme. So in this non-cyclic photophosphorylation, one molecule ATP is produced and 2 molecule NADPH is produced. This ATP and NADPH will utilize for the reduction of the carbon dioxide in the second phase of the photosynthesis, that is known as the dark reaction. That will explain later. Okay, so that is the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So during the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, water splitting or photolysis of the water taken place and hydrogen is formed, and this hydrogen ion is taken for the reduction of the NADP to NADPH2. Electron is given back to the PS second chlorophyll present in the chlorophyll P680 in the PS second, and the electron expelled from the PS second that never come back, and that utilized for the reduction of the NADP to NADPH2. So that is the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Then let us explain cyclic photophosphorylation. So let us explain cyclic photophosphorylation. So in the cyclic photophosphorylation, PS is absorbing the sunlight at the wavelength 700 nanometer. Okay, so here the specific chlorophyll A is P700. Okay, so this P700 absorbing the 700 nanometer wavelength light energy, and that become excited, and it enter into the from the ground state to the excited state, and the electron is expelling outside, and this electron is taken place pyridoxine reducing substrate. Okay, and from the pyridoxine FRS, pyridoxine reducing substrate, the electron is given to the pyridoxine, and this pyridoxine transfer the electron to the cytochrome B6. So when the electron passing from the pyridoxine to cytochrome B6, energy released, and this energy utilized for the ATP synthesis, that means phosphorylation, and forming ADP plus inorganic phosphate, and ATP is forming. Okay, then from the cytochrome B6, the electron is transferred to the cytochrome F. During this time also sufficient energy is released, and that utilized for the reaction ADP plus inorganic phosphate, and ATP is formed. Okay, and the electron is then transferred to the plastocyanin. Okay, from the plastocyanin, the electron get back to the PS system, photosystem 1. That means the electron expelled from the PS system 1. That after transferring through the electron carriers, finally the same electron is reached back to the PS 1. That means the electron transfer is in the cyclic manner. So this type of the electron carrier, electron transport system is known as the cyclic way of the electron transfer, and hence this type of the phosphorylation is known as the cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay, so here the benefit, 2 ATP molecule formed, but no NADPH2 is formed. In the non-cyclic, 1 ATP molecule and 2 NADPH2 formed. In the cyclic photophosphorylation, 2 NADPH2 formed, but no 2 ATP is formed, and no NADPH2 is formed. Okay, so all this ATP and NADPH2 is utilized for the reduction of the carbon dioxide in the dark reaction. That is the next second phase of the photosynthesis. Okay, so next we will study how the ATP is formed. What is the mechanism for the formation of this ATP? Just informed here, just explained here, during the cyclic and non-cyclic transfer of the electrons, ATP is forming. So exactly how the ATP forming we cannot explain. So that I will explain in the next video, the mechanism of the formation of the ATP. Okay, thank you very much.